aka Orlando. Get excited, voice creators. Did I say creators? Yeah, this is the creator stage. If you guys are in the sound of my voice, this is the heart and soul of the content creator community here in Orlando, Florida. Gather around, one and all, for this next panel right here on the creator stage. We have WEBTOON ambassador Logan Digma. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Huge round of applause. I probably got pretty close. She's a WEBTOON ambassador. She's teamed up with 50+ voice actors to bring artist comic books to life in audio format. Yes, this is voicing and producing comic dubs. Orlando, huge round of applause.
All right, can you all hear me okay? Yeah? Awesome. All right, well, before we begin, I want to welcome you all to our very first panel here at MEGACON Orlando. Look at us go. So, you know, by a show of hands, who here has heard of Helvetica dubs? You know, that's amazing. We love that. And who here has no idea what this is? Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you all here. This is the first time Helvetica has made a physical convention appearance since we hosted Helveticon back in July of 21. And we are so happy you all could join us today. So the way the panel is going to work is we have some slides that we're going to run through that, well, as titles say, explain the process behind us voicing and producing all of our dub work. Then after the presentation is finished, we'll have some time left over at the end for an open question and answer session. We'll take any questions you all may have, whether it's about voice acting, the process, our channel, or any questions you might have for us specifically. So if you have questions, save them for the end of the panel. Sound good? Yeah? All right, then let us get started. That's the title panel. There we go. First off, we'll go ahead and quickly introduce ourselves. My name is Logan Digma, and I'm the creator and producer of Helvetica Dubs. I'm also a part-time voice actor and vocalist. I'm a WEBTOON ambassador and a Genshin Impact content creator as of recent. Some roles you may recognize me for, I performed include Persephone from Lore Olympus, both for our dubs and officially for WEBTOON. Haley in Doomsday Paradise, Peaches in Mashigi Love and War, and Yuri for Friday Night Funkin' Doki Doki Takeover.
Oh, is it me? Okay.
Yeah,
hey, everybody. My name is Jackson Lowry. You may know me as Bubba the Carlos through Helvetica or on YouTube. I'm currently a film student in Central California. I'm a video editor and do voiceover projects here and there. I've voiced Hades on Lore Olympus through Helvetica, Nikolai from a recent audiobook titled The Synesthete, Charles Jones from Let's Play, and recently I've had a few opportunities to work on several feature films in California, and I'm hoping to make my way into that industry.
Yeah! Woo! Woohoo! Right. It's your next.
Right. Hey guys, my name is Matt Santino. I am a voice actor, a vocalist, a composer, and an impressionist. Some roles you may know me from. I have played Zeus for Lore Olympus, both in comic dub and officially. I have played Jackson from The Stolen Hope and Ace from a series called Wasteland.
Yeah! All right. Jackie.
Hi, my name is Jackie Gordon, but Helvetica knows me better as Scorpio, or Scorp for short. I am a voice actor for Helvetica and off of Helvetica, and I have been the voice for the cases in Lore Olympus, as like my shirt says. I've also been Sam in Let's Play, Rain Liebert, both officially for Helvetica and for a WEBTOON dub from Homesick, and Belladonna Davenport from Purple Hyacinth. And not only that, I'm a staff member for Helvetica's Discord server, and I am also their social media manager for their Instagram.
Woo! All right. Last but not least.
Hi, I'm Victoria Gordon. I'm her twin sister, but I mostly go by Stellar Fairy online. I'm not a voice actor. I'm the oddball out here, but I am mostly an artist by trade. I'm going to school for it, and most of my work you can see here, good chunk of it's actually commission work for Logan's covers.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Now, I could give you all a very nice, boring, long paragraph of what we do at Helvetica, but I decided let's do a video instead. So, let me make this transition seem really cool. Ready? There we go. All right. The audio works for this. That's not the audio.
Who's she anyway?
Oh, I hear it. There you go.
You remember me?
Yeah, I think so. A troll of some sort.
I see you haven't lost your reflexes, Purple Hyacinth.
And you haven't lost your thing for sparks, Hestia.
Hey, did you hear me? I said. What is it this time?
My head.
Don't you know that your death could be far more agonizing than those before? gentle autumn rain.
This is getting boring.
She encountered an assassin who offered her. It was the closest she ever got to the truth.
From the creator of freaking romance. I don't understand this. Why are you running away from me?
The original series behind Netflix is held down.
Repent! Repent now!
All right, there it is.
That sounded cool on speaker.
And that was just a very shortened showcase of just some of the work that we've done on our channel, and I'm very proud of everybody here. I'm very thankful to have them working with me on all of this. So thank you guys.
We love you.
And I'm not playing the video again. There we go. All right, so what is a comic dub? As the name quite literally says, it's essentially an audio dub of a comic, or as I like to define it, it's when we take the panels of a comic and bring them to life using a combination of visual and audio effects that you would typically see in an animated cartoon or movie. We do this by taking different elements such as background music, atmospheric ambiance, realistic or comedic sound effects, I'm louder, thank you, and voiceover, and combine them all together to appropriately match the image that we see on the panel. The panels of the comic are then panned out in a way that the viewers can easily see what is going on, and so they're able to listen and read at the same time, and voila, a YouTube video. The thumbnails that you see here, there, and there on the slides are just a few examples of some comic dubs that we've worked on in the past, including some WEBTOON sponsored dubs and a Genshin Impact dub series that we finished a few months ago. So that one was fun. All right, casting. I tend to get questions almost daily about the process behind producing a dub, starting from pre-production all the way until posting. Well, it all begins with the very first step, casting. Being a casting director is one of the most enjoyable jobs I've ever done. And while the process can be a bit strenuous, it's very much worth it with the final outcome of it. On the screen, you can see a nice, long, fun list of every actor in our roster, which totals to 74 as of this panel. It started at like 5. And then I've also included a list of our talent pool actors on the right. The talent pool is a group of actors I definitely want to work with in the future, so I have them on a separate roster as an easy reference. I'd say 90% of the time when I'm casting for our projects, I stick to these lists of actors, so that way I have an easy communication with the same people over and over. And so I know who I'm working with, both talent-wise and personality-wise, which I will get to in just a second. All right, text, fun. So do you guys ever just read a book or watch an anime that's in sub and think, I wonder what they would sound like in English? And then you just start celebrity casting out of nowhere, Chris Pratt. I get to do that exact thing as a casting director, and I get to bring that headcanon that I have for that character into reality. So when I cast for roles, it's important to know and understand the strengths of each individual actor, to know how they sound, meaning their vocal type, their audio quality, natural accents or dialects they may have, or just knowing their availability to record and communicate, which is the key to running a successful production. Earlier when I mentioned knowing who I'm working with personality-wise, I was referring to familiarizing myself with their flexibility, willingness to communicate, and their general personality. As a director, I always have to work one-on-one with each actor, meaning I need to adapt to each actor's circumstance and work with them all individually from start to finish. I tend to give off very chaotic, expressive, all capital letter energy when I text people, but not every actor I text does that. Some just use periods in all their sentences. Y'all are scary. But, you know, in any field, whether if it's directing or just in a leadership position, it's important to know that your directing or leadership style, it changes with each person you work with. Not every person's gonna work the same way, and it's important as a leader to adapt to those circumstances. However, there have been a few occasions where I've needed a second opinion, like many casting directors do. Don't make me laugh. Which is where casting assistants come in. Whenever I can't decide between a handful of actors for a character, I always go to my lovely friends, Jackie and Crystal, who are so amazing at helping me narrow down the list. And you can see at the bottom left corner
That's
there.
not nice, Logan.
Listen. You can see in the very bottom left corner, they're both kind of vibing there. And here's some live footage of me going through my list of actors. I'm really mad in that second one for some reason. Okay, script direction. So, before sending out lines to the actor, I always send them a message including all of the details for the project, and the character I think they'd be great as. And I give them as much information that I have available to me. That way they know what they're saying, yes or no, to voicing in. And on the left, there's a typical message that I would send to actors when I receive info on a role for them. That one was for WEBTOON's School Bus Graveyard, if any of y'all are familiar with that one. That's a great comic, you should read it. Or sometimes I just don't do that, and I just message people like Jackie and say, hey, record for me right now, and she does it. So, that's also something you can do. All right, script direction, part 3. Script direction or live direction, it honestly depends on what production we're working on. Back when we were dubbing Lore Olympus Season 1, I almost had every single actor in a live session that I had directed. Since I think personally it's a lot easier to get your point across to people if they're right there in front of you, or virtually in front of you. However, nowadays I'm a little bit lazier and I tend to just send the actors PDFs of their lines with directions on them. And on the left there, I know that looks really intimidating, but that's what most anime actors actually use for reference when they do ADR work. I've taken some liberties with these symbols, but I often use them when giving directions on panels that don't necessarily have any lines, but I'd like an effort sound instead. So as an example, you can see on the homesick panel on the left there, it says CM, which means a closed mouth. So that just means I'd like the actor to record a closed mouth sound that would reflect how the character is acting in that frame. Sometimes I also get even lazier, and if the actor's already done the sound before, like Jackie here, the panel on the right tends to happen where I just said, you know what to do, I just circled her face.
I've done that like 6 times for 6 videos, so it's just embedded in my brain.
Yeah, WEBTOON came back to me and they're like, can we get that take again, but 3 more times? And, and then you were ready. And of course, I also use this time to decide on a deadline for the audio, the file format, meaning MP3 or WAV or WAV, whatever y'all want to say, and other technical specifications. Big word. All right, post-production. I won't go into too much detail on all of these programs, but these are all the editing softwares that I use to produce our work. So for all of the audio mixing, I use GarageBand. For downloading the comic panels, I use Photoshop, or I just screenshot it the old-fashioned way. For cropping the panels, I use Photoshop Mix. For thumbnails, I use GoDaddy. I don't know why it's called GoDaddy. For video editing, I use Adobe Premiere Rush. And whatever I need to animate a panel like I had to do in Homesick, I use Procreate, which I'm sure a lot of you artists are familiar with already. One similarity you may notice between all of these programs are that they are all mobile programs. I refuse to use a computer for any of my editing work, with this being the only exception. I do everything from my iPad Pro. I'm very mobile with my work, so I always travel and I use my iPad wherever I go. So if any of y'all just don't have access to a computer, you can get as much done on an iPad. GarageBand. I use this for literally everything, from recording song covers to editing to composing music. GarageBand is a very user-friendly and a great recording program. Most of our dubs have anywhere from 40 audio files to 200 plus audio files, but it honestly depends on the length of the video. Now, when I say audio files, I'm not referring to like 200 clips I'm putting into my program. My iPad would probably combust. I'm talking about one audio file with maybe 30 lines in it that I then split up, and that becomes 30 audio files. GarageBand specifically allows you to have up to 32 layers of audio, which seems like a lot at first glance, but I find myself hitting that limit a lot, especially with Lore Olympus. I probably had almost 100 layers of audio for Lore Olympus. I'm just extra like that. On the right is a photo of what a typical audio session would look like, including background effects, lines, sound effects, and music. And I think GarageBand is a really good way to just simplify the audio editing process. I've tried using Adobe Audition for editing. I think GarageBand's an easier alternative. That's just me, whatever y'all want to do. And the video editing program I use, Adobe Premiere Rush. I refuse to use the pro version. I know Jack here is well acquainted with the pro version, but it looks really scary. I don't want to use it. How do you do that?
I just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, do they like require that for like film school all the time for you, or?
They did towards the latter half. They wanted us to use Pro Tools, but our teachers could never get that to work, so I just used Adobe
Just
Audition and Premiere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Adobe Premiere Rush, it's also on mobile as well, and I think it's just a great program to use. So once I get to this process of the editing, it's just plugging the panels in and lining them up with the audio. I finished the audio before doing the visuals, so that way the audio is all ready to go for the visuals to be added. This part of the process usually takes anywhere from 1 to 2 days, once again depending on the length of the dub. And on the right is a photo of what a typical visual editing session looks like. This one is actually a very simplified version since there aren't a lot of layers going on, which is very nice. That was for our most recent Laura Olympus video that came out. That was the Minthy scene. Yeah, that was the Minthy scene.
Solid.
There we go. And finally, posting. And this may seem very simple, but there's actually a lot of statistics that go behind simply posting a YouTube video. It's important to understand who your target audience is, and in our case, our demographic shows most of our viewers are between 18 to 24 years old, so I want to make sure the thumbnails, titles, and video tags appeal to that age group. Like, we're not going to put Cocomelon on the thumbnail because there's a higher chance no one in our audience would find that appealing. Or maybe y'all do. I don't know. If you want to watch Cocomelon, go watch Cocomelon. It's on Netflix. Uploading days and times are also important, and thankfully YouTube has a feature in the studio where you can see when your subscribers are most active. We always upload on Fridays at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, since a lot of our audience is active then. Then of course we share the upload on our socials, which our lovely social media manager Jackie covers for Instagram, I cover for Twitter, and Victoria covers Discord. And to wrap up the PowerPoint presentation part of this, here's all our socials if y'all want to give us a follow. To old fans and to new fans, we do have 4 different platforms here. We appreciate the support we've gotten these last 3 years now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we have a YouTube, Helvetica Dubs, Instagram, Helvetica Dubs. It's all Helvetica Dubs. But yeah, we're active on there especially on YouTube. We upload once a week, Twitter once a week, everything. We're always active. So yeah, give us a follow. All right. And that concludes my rambling for this, and now I'll be opening it up to all of you to ask any questions you may have, whether it's about the channel, voice acting, random questions about favorite colors, what color is math, it's red.
No. Math is blue.
Math is red. I also have questions here to ask our panelists as well, so if you have a question, just raise your hand or go up to the mic. Okay, just kidding, go up to the mic, and we'll try our best to get to everyone. Group questions, individual questions, whatever you got. So raise your hand or go up to the mic. Any questions?
Like a big question I would say is like, how can I join, or like, you know, since casting, right? How can I join? Like, I wanna try this, like myself.
Of course. If you have Twitter, or you can email me. I'm always open to hearing more demos from incoming talent. So if you want to shoot me a DM on Twitter, which is @HelveticADubs, with your demo reel or maybe a monologue that you performed, I always keep everybody on my talent pool for consideration. So if just send me your stuff, and I'll definitely give it a listen.
Also, real quick, like, what's the Discord?
The Discord link, we can send after the panel. We'll give it to you. Yeah, the Discord. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Doing great.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
What's up? I know you already know me. But I did actually have a question for you, Logan.
Yes.
I currently am building up a YouTube channel myself in order to kind of get some exposure and get people to know me. But I also balance a full-time job as well, so like maintaining the channel isn't exactly the easiest thing for me to do. So I was just wondering, is it at that point, is it more kind of like a quantity sort of thing or a quality sort of thing, like in terms of like releasing content?
That's a good question. I think when it comes to trying, well, I'm a full-time university student, so I also have to balance university with this work. I think it's more important that you're enjoying what you're producing rather than trying to get 10 videos out a week, because if you're burning yourself out, it's not going to come out the way you want it to come out. So if anything, I guess to answer your question, I'd say quality over quantity. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, what's the sense in doing it, you know?
If you're putting passion into something, your audience will notice. Like followers, that's where followers come from. Is from the work that you put in and how diligently you're working on what you're working on.
And like I don't think a lot of people realize like how burnout can truly affect your way of thinking and your way of producing stuff, because you can get sloppy. It happens. We're human. Burnout happens. So I mean, if anything, don't take it so seriously, I guess, where to the point it's overwhelming. Like, you want to have fun. This is a fun career.
Absolutely. And actually, just one more question before I go. If you had the choice, instead of like going out and kind of like searching for content, like to go ahead and dub, have you ever considered, like, for example, like going to an artist and actually commissioning a comic from scratch in order to dub?
I've actually been approached by comic artists to dub their work for them, and then we got paid for it. I've never went out and asked for a comic to be commissioned, but we've been commissioned to dub comics by smaller artists in the past.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because like I'm currently in the process of, I was commissioning an artist to do a Genshin comic dub from scratch, and then that I can go ahead and dub afterwards. So I just wanted to hear just like kind of how you guys approach that.
That'd be so fun. Yeah, you should totally do that. I've never considered commissioning an artist before to do like for us to dub. So that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I actually done one of them already before. It's already up on, it's up on YouTube. I can share it to you later.
Yeah,
if you want
show it to us after. I want to see it.
Of course.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet.
Oh, you were calling it.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'm fairly new to the voice acting space. However, I recently have gotten my own. I finally got cast in a few roles, and I don't really have a demo reel or anything. But how would I go about making a demo reel or getting in touch with you guys? Is there something I can do?
When it comes to making demos, one of the best pieces of advice that I got before I made mine was your demo consists of your strongest skills. And you discover what your strongest skills are through experience. A lot of casting calls don't require demos now. I mean, there's a handful that do, but there's also a large variety that don't. And through auditioning through those casting calls, when you start booking those roles, you're gonna realize, wow, I can do a really good antagonist, or wow, I'm a really good next door neighbor. And you discover those strengths through auditioning. And let's say you've booked several roles and you feel like you're ready to make a demo now that you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Those are what go into your demo. You want to make sure your scriptwriter knows, okay, so you can do a really good, scary dragon voice. I'll make sure to put that in your demo for you. So yeah, your demo just consists of your strongest, what you think your strongest performance points are.
All right. And I would like to add, there are different types of demo reels that you really
I was
want
just about to say that
yeah,
too.
thank you.
you really want to just make sure you know exactly what you think your best skill set would be. Like somebody like me, I take a lot of character roles. So I'm typically, the demos I produce are animation demos because that's what I'm most likely to get casted in.
Character and animation demos kind of play into each other.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Let's say you have this deep, low, beautiful, leathery voice, just like people just like, oh, you're gonna want to put out a commercial reel because you will get cast immediately. Yeah. So really just know your voice type and know what demo reel you should produce based on your voice type.
And the main thing is communicating with your scriptwriter about if you're hiring someone who's writing the script for you, communication's key because you want to show your best to your abilities. You want to show off like what you're good at. So don't be afraid to tell them, I don't really like this part of the script. Can we change it? Can we talk about this? Can we do a different take? Don't be afraid to do that because if you're not happy, you're not going to like your demo and you're not going to want to put it out there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Also, we love your Daredevil cosplay, by the way. So good.
That's great. Hi.
What's the best thing you like to do about being a voice actor?
Okay, you want to go down the list from
Start
here?
with you.
Start with you. Okay, yeah, start with me. The best thing that I like about being a voice actor is being able to play a character that's so different from what I would do in real life, or sometimes playing a character that is like me. Like Persephone is very much me. So that was a lot of fun, just being able to put myself in her circumstances and see what her life is like, voicing her. And even as the opposite, like being a character like a villain, for an example, that's so fun. Like, I think I have a very bubbly personality, so being able to just scream at this poor protagonist young boy, you know? It's very diverse from what I'm used to. So yeah, I think just being able to play something that I'm typically not.
I think I have to agree with that because a lot of the characters that I play are so different from how I am in real life a lot of the time. But then again, there are some that are very much like me. But I feel like my favorite thing is more so you get to see the in-depth of the industry. You also get to see the how different forms of things you're voicing, like say you're voicing in a video game, say you're doing an audiobook. You get to see just how different all of that is, because a lot of the time people will think voice acting is, oh, you do silly voices, you do impressions, but there's so much more to it than just that. It's literally you're performing. It's not like you're just pretending, it's just you're trying to get into the character's head.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as as a guy who does a lot, like character roles, I love the chance to really expand my range. The amount of stuff that I've been brought on for is just the different types of stuff. It's absolutely wild. I get a character that has an absolutely gravelly voice, so I have to go from going
Yes, welcome.
to just hey guys, it's me, Jerry Seinfeld. How you doing? How's everybody tonight? Yeah, good. And it's so fun to get the chance to just be able to do that in the same kind of line of work. It's so unreal.
That's awesome. I think two of the favorite things for me are the worlds you go into and the connections you make. I really love being able to come into someone else's world, bring a little bit of me with it, and see how that mixes together. It's really interesting, and it can make for some really cool times, you know? But for me, the biggest thing just voice acting has brought to me has been the connections that I've made and the people that I've met. They've really, all these guys and many more have changed my life for sure, and have given me so much to think about and so much to strive for as an individual. And I really love that. I really love that part of it.
Aww, we love you.
I'm not really a voice actor like these four right here, but working with these guys all the time, it's just amazing. Just because, I grew up with anime and cartoons and everything, right? And I always thought, this stuff is so interesting, but I never pursued a passion in it like my sister. But once she got into this, it's just amazing to see how complex and how entertaining this industry can be. Because especially like Logan said, if you read webcomics or something and you wonder how would it sound when you meet a group of people who can actually kind of capture the characters' personalities for real, it changes the whole thing, and it's just amazing to see. You all do such great work, and I'm so glad we're here right now doing this.
Thank you so much, and wish me luck on my journey to become one of you guys soon.
You got
Awesome.
this.
You
Best of
got
luck to you.
this.
Yeah, best of
Full
luck,
faith.
definitely.
Woo.
Sweet.
I love your cosplay.
Oh my
It's
god,
so good.
it's so beautiful. I still need to see that, by the way.
Yes, you do. Hi, my name is Carmen. I'm a voiceover actress. I actually just moved here from Burbank, California.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yes. So I've worked on a lot of animated projects. I've done a few audiobooks, commercials. What do you guys notice is the main difference? I've never got to do a dub or a comic dub before. So are there any major differences that you notice between the two?
I think if you're taking a script, let's say you're voicing an animated project and the director gives you a script with some direction on it. Say, I want this line to be very somber, for example. With a comic dub, you don't get that direction.
Yeah.
All you get is the character's face and how you think they'd be feeling in that moment. Sometimes comics have little moments like dread, just written on the screen, but often you don't. You just have to look at the character and think, okay, they look kind of sad. Why are they sad? And you have to go back and look at the previous panels to see. And I think having expressions, seeing the expressions of the character does help a lot more than just seeing written direction on a page. So if anything, in some ways it's easier than reading off a script for typical acting, or sometimes it can be viewed as harder because you don't have that written direction. That's my take on it. What do y'all think?
Well, it was last summer, right, where we took that ADR workshop
Yes.
together? So last summer, Logan and we took an ADR workshop with Jason Lord, who works for Extra Terrible Studios, which highly recommend if you guys are looking to get into the ADR industry. His
incredible.
workshops are incredible and also very affordable. But with his thing, what I learned is so different from comic dubs is just how the critique is given out. Because with comic dubs, it's
flat out right there, you sometimes just can't truly mess it up. But when it comes to animation, that kind of thing, you see how they're moving. You see, and if your director wants you to capture a certain like movement or a certain emotion, they will help you no matter what to get that through, because it's like you want to make your audience believe you're genuinely moving. Not to say that you can't do that for comic dubs. It's just, in a way, I guess you could say they're more stiff.
Yeah,
That's how I would describe it. Sometimes comic dubs can be stiff, but don't get me wrong, they're entertaining. It's just animation and comic dubs, it's like a pipeline. You go do comic dubs first, then you migrate to animation, because it helps you get there. That's my take on the very matter.
Yeah, if I could add super fast, I think with comic dubs, it's because they're not moving, you don't have that advantage of the character looking sad or like just expressing themselves as sad in animation, because like I said, it's stiff. You have to really express how they're feeling, because the comic page won't give you as much as an animation would.
What do y'all think, boys?
I'd like to say before I go, to the person in the Jaguar mask, every time you nod your head, the mouth goes, and this is the best part of my day. I thank you.
Wow.
My take on it, though, for comic dubs, I think that the big difference between comic dubs and animation is comic dubs, you can see the artist's intent on the page. You know exactly what they want with the facial expressions and the lines you're given. Animation, the artists and the animators are looking to you to make that decision. And a lot of times you'll get, I'm sure you're familiar with this, you get a director who they have something in mind, and then you give them something else entirely, and they just say, oh, wow, well, that was way better than what I thought, I'll take that. So you kind of get to make that decision, and people have their own preferences. Like, comic dubs are really awesome because there's a potential for already having a fan base behind it, and you're just kind of building on this excellent thing that's already. But with animation, you're also there, kind of like making it with them. This is you're helping out with that direction. So it's, I think that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have really anything to add to that. You guys
You need to stop going last.
So I'm the order out. Oh God.
Come on, man, pull through.
Wait, what do you want me to do? I don't
Make something up.
Make something up. Okay. Seagull fries.
That was awesome. I honestly was a huge fan of that.
10 out of 10.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What kind of practice do you do for expanding your vocal range?
Start with him.
Oh, yeah,
Start with me. No, don't start with me.
No,
Come on,
do
you
it.
go.
Go first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Well, for me, it really depends on what I'm doing. A lot of the times, like if I'm doing a character that maybe is a little bit higher up there, I scream. Like I'll scream before I go into my booth, and try and get my voice into a more like raspy or cutty range. But other times, I mean, a lot of the time it's just I try to take care of my throat and of my voice. Like I drink a cup of warm water before I go in. Just staying hydrated is really important. I don't necessarily have like a routine that I do prior to recording, other than I guess the screaming, depending on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Water is your best friend as a voice actor. Another thing that's really great is green apples.
I was just about to say
I
that.
beat you to it. Green apples are very great. I think for some of the more character-y voices I have some signature phrases that really help me remember kind of how his inflection works. So like for, I don't know, like Zeus. For Zeus I go, Hera, yes, all right. I'm not American, and then I kind of roll with that, because we know the accents. It's very, very important to make it obviously authentic, warm it up, but also be consistent with how you've been voicing it. You'll hear people who are doing an accent that's not native to them. They'll change it every so often, and you really want to strive for that consistency.
Another really good thing for vocal care is when you do scream, I'm hoping y'all are going on vocal rest like as soon as you're done. Because like
yeah, be careful for sure.
Yeah,
I should have said
like when you're doing those things, you don't realize how much you are damaging your voice until like to the point you can't talk. So vocal rest is like one thing for me. So I've had to do multiple death screams for a bunch of projects before, and as soon as I got done, I either had to like drink like warm tea or something, or like take a like lozenge just to help. But when it comes to like, I don't know, like getting into the characters' heads, not the heads, but like the voices, it's like, I won't lie, like
sometimes you take inspiration from other people's kind of like performances. Like particularly with Belladonna for me in Purple Hyacinth, I take inspiration from Laura Bailey as Lust from Full Metal Alchemist. And I don't, dude, best girl. And it's like, you just try to, I guess you would say, mimic it, but give your own twist. Like, you don't want to be an exact copy. Like, you want people to know, oh, this is the other person, not the other one. Like, you want to add your own twist, but it's also just like, think of like what similar characters you think would be like kind of close by, and it's kind of like, think of how you want to sound. Do you want to sound dark? Do you want to sound scary? Do you want to sound happy? You just kind of have to think those emotions and like kind of express them in your words. When I'm in my booth, honestly, I'm like throwing hand movements because that's how expressive I am.
Oh my god, I was in a session last week and I was being expressive with my hands and I just waved my hand, I knocked sound film off my wall. And the director was like, what was that? I'm like, no, it's nothing, it's nothing. But expanding your range, right? That was your question? And what Jackie was saying with impressions help you realize things you didn't realize you could do before.
I didn't realize I could talk way up here before. I just recently learned I can do this.
Paimon.
Paimon's way up here.
But it's through impressions that you realize what your capabilities are. Like, this is my natural talking voice. But if you just watch a show and you hear a character that sounds nothing like you, give it a try. See if you can do it. In a safe way, of course. You don't want to hurt yourself. But you never realize what you can do unless you give it a try. And you know, what you're saying, taking inspiration from other actors as well is a great way. The vocal diversity out there is insane. Like, you get, oh my god, what's that character from League of Legends that really, like, there's this monster character that's like way down here, and then there's characters like Paimon, and you just gotta play with it and see what you're capable of.
Another thing I just want to add is, I know a lot of people always say they hate the sound of their voice, they don't like how the sound of their voice is, but when you want to be in this industry, you just kind of have to own it. You have to learn to love your voice for how it is, and you just can't be afraid. Like, don't hold back. Like, don't think, oh, my voice won't suit this character, I don't think I can do it. You can. You just have to put your mind to it. You're the one holding yourself back when it comes to these things. Like, if you want to expand your range, voice a monster, voice a British dude or whatever, do it. Give it practice. You got it.
Hell yeah.
Just have fun. You know, what you're doing in the privacy of your own home, you can do whatever you want. I was 2 nights ago, I was like, you know what? My voice is, one of the highest in the world. You know what? I'm going to do an Optimus Prime impression. I just sat there on my bed looking at the wall just going,
I am Optimus Prime.
Another thing I also just want to say that really
Protector of
helps
the Earth
is, I just got into it, D&D. If y'all play D&D and make your own characters, y'all can literally shape their voices how you want. Like, that helps because you're playing your own character.
Yeah.
And we're going to be playing that soon, too.
Yeah, I got a one-shot coming up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, we got 5 minutes left. Yes.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to know if you have a problem with copyright stuff, and if yes, like, how do you deal with that?
Yes. We had we're currently facing a copyright thing with Lore Olympus because when the webtoon finishes, it becomes Daily Pass, which means we had to take all of our content down. The best thing I can give for advice on is asking the artist ahead of time. With all of our webtoon dubs, I always ask the artist, I always send them work in progresses to make sure they're okay with it. That's in terms of like visual copyright. You have to be prepared to take it down though, especially with webtoon dubs. Because with Daily Pass, it means you can't view it on Webtoon without paying, so how can you view it on YouTube? In terms of music copyright, YouTube Library is your best friend. Sound effect copyright, they don't copyright you for that stuff. I've used the same wind sounds that I've heard in Mandalorian. It's from YouTube. It's literally from YouTube. It's really funny. But yeah, just in general copyright, just make sure you're asking for permission first before getting into it, because you don't want to get into any legal trouble with the artist, because sometimes they're not okay with reposting, and you don't want to assume. And if you can't get in contact with them, usually I just move on to the next comic. But yeah, that's my best advice for you on copyright.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. 5 minutes left.
Sweet. Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, as a casting director who's new into the industry, how do you find people if you have no one?
Yes.
Tell the story of how I got cast, please.
Yeah. Do we tell the story of how I cast you?
I would love, please. Do it.
Okay. So when I started Lore Olympus, I had no one. I had 3 people and an idea. My friend Caroline was trying to get some ideas on who should we cast for Zeus or Hades or anyone. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I go over here and I'm like, hey, you voice act, yeah? We were in a project together. Do you want to voice Hades?
I picked Zeus because he was purple. That's the only reason I asked to play Zeus was because he was purple.
Yeah, then you end up getting Hades.
Thanks.
But in general, seriously, casting calls. If you're looking for actors for your project, Twitter is a great platform. It might give you feedback. Twitter is very popular for voice actors. If you just put the words casting call and voice actor, prepare for like 500 people sending you their stuff.
I have sent my demo into so many casting calls when it says just quote retweet your casting call or just add it in. I have like quote retweeted my demo like 70 times.
Yeah, same. Twitter is a fantastic platform for that stuff. Discord as well. Oh, that's my mic. Discord as well. If you have Discord, there's a server called Voice Acting Club, and they have a place to post casting calls on there too. So if you want to get the word out there for your project, Twitter, Voice Acting Club, and Casting Call Club.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we got 4 minutes left. So, speak now, forever hold your peace.
Somebody asked us like a really just ridiculous question.
Here's a stupid
I'm
question.
feeling one of those right now.
Favorite flavor of toothpaste?
Heck yeah.
This isn't so much a question, but something I would like to say to the audience who is trying to get out there. My biggest regret ever not of doing this career is that I really had this fear of failing, of looking like a fool, and now somebody that really believed in me and thought I would do really well is gone. And I do it now because of her, and now I got my first role. So really, don't give up, get started, get out there and do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on your first role.
Congrats, man.
Absolutely.
So I'm back with the last question.
Okay.
Who is your favorite character in Genshin, and why is it child for you?
Okay,
Dude.
my favorite character in Genshin on the spotlight now. God, y'all expect me to say child. Y'all are thinking I'm gonna say child, but I'm gonna say Ito because Max Middleman is a god, and I love his voiceover
Then change
work.
your Discord
I'm
profile.
not changing my Discord profile.
It is
It's,
her profile on
it's-
Discord is the child Empreg gif. Every time I'm on the phone with her, it's just moving.
yeah, it's a gift that Griffin Burns did of Emperor Child. But no, Ito, I like Ito. He's very funny, he's very loud, and I feel like we give off the same energy. So I'd say Ito.
Okay, so I have a few. So my comfort character, honestly, from Genshin is Yunjin. I think she's so cute, but my favorite character, Hu Tao. I probably like kin her, but I love Yunjin, Hu Tao, and Shinha. Shinha is my wife. I love her. I have like a few. So 2 of them fit the same category, really. So I love Rosaria and I love Shinha. I love Cryo Pole Arms, apparently. But I also love Mona. Like, I know not a lot of people like her because of her personality, but like her aesthetic is amazing. She's cute, and I can deal with the personality because there's a lot of anime characters like that, and once you've like seen enough, you get used to it.
Mona's the worst character in the game.
So is Child.
No, he's not.
Personally, I don't really like Fischl that much, but that's just my 2 cents.
Do you play again?
The furry ones, Bubba.
You told me last night you played Genshin.
I do. I just like being silly. It's Child. It actually is Child.
Is it really?
Yeah, actually.
Oh my god.
I've never played the game.
Just say Child.
Sure, child.
No. Yeah, let's get
No,
it.
just say Ito.
No, say Chow.
Look what you've started.
Oh no.
Look what you've done.
No, you know who's the best character? Captain Beto.
Oh my god.
Hard
That's a
agree on
solid
that
one.
one. Hard agree on that one.
But I do want to
Shockingly.
say, everybody's got some really cool costumes today. I'm getting a really good
Yeah,
energy
dang.
from Spider-Man.
I need some
right
now.
now. I've been getting one this whole time. If you see me turn away and smile, that's
I
why.
took y'all 3 pictures, Shinobu, Nobata, and Maki.
I'm gonna need
y'all
some
have
pictures
my
after
heart.
this.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
my favorite. I want
That'd be
Jaguar
great.
Head's picture because it just keeps nodding, and I love it. It's just so good. Also, I see you, Zell. I see you right there.
Shout out to Ben Kenobi. I've just been
Yeah.
I didn't even see you. Oh, yo.
And Bo-Katan. I
Also,
started walking in.
Yamuichiro, love
And
him.
Mike
He's
Myers
my
over
boy,
there.
my baby.
All right, I think we're out of time. Are we out of time?
Oh, there's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was fun.
All right,
been
thank you
like-
all. Oh my God. Well, thank you all
It's
so
always been
much for
looming.
coming. People said they wanted to meet us afterwards, so if you want to say, we'll be here afterwards for a couple minutes. But
we're chilling.
thank you all. Thank you all so much for coming.
Bye now. Enjoy the rest of the con.
Have fun.
Huge round of applause. That was absolutely awesome. So much fun. Thanks for all for coming for this. Stick around at the top of the hour. We're going to be talking about kickstarting or crowdfunding your comic book project or any project for that matter. We're going to be answering all of your Kickstarter questions. So stick around, top of the hour, right here on the creator stage. Then enjoy your time on the con floor.